Hey everyone, so a couple of weeks ago, shortly after the reopening of Bennerley Viaduct to the public, a member of the Friends of Bennerley Viaduct got in touch with me and said, can you suggest any good walks that people can come to the viaduct, enjoy it, maybe circular walks, out and back walks, have you got any ideas? And I said, yeah, I have actually, I've got a few ideas. And I thought, rather than just suggest them, I'd make walks out of them, walks on getting there, getting back, and even a few circular walks as well. So I thought it's quite appropriate that I begin on the route of the railway line that took us on to Bennerley Viaduct, the former Great Northern Railway, Derbyshire and Staffordshire extension. And today you find me at Kimberley. And this is lovely nature reserve now. Look, the former track bed. We've got some buffer stops there, obviously not authentic, but just there to remind us of what used to be here. And I'm just shy of Kimberley East Station. So let's take you up this track bed and I'm going to show you the station, and then we're going to head on towards the former Awsworth station, Awsworth Junction, where there used to be another brick viaduct. I believe it was called Giltbrook Viaduct and it was nicknamed 40 Archers, and then we're going to eventually end up at the famous Iron Giant of Bennerley Viaduct. So today's walk follows the disused railway line that took us from Nottingham and off towards Bennerley Viaduct. Now Bennerley Viaduct is our destination in this video, and we're going to begin at Kimberley and the former site of Kimberley East Railway Station. We're going to continue on west towards Bennerley. We're going to go underneath the A610 dual carriageway, past the former Awsworth Junction and Awsworth Station before arriving at our destination of the Iron Giant. So let's get back down to Kimberley East Station. The station eventually closed to passengers on the 2nd of November 1964 before closing to freight finally in November 1964. The station itself is now residential, so I'm not going to show the camera too much out of privacy, but we'll have a little glimpse of it. Temporarily we lose the track bed. We've got to go a little way down Eastwood Road, which is to my right, and I'm going to hairpin turn onto it, walk down and then take a left onto High Street before we pick up the track bed yet again. So there we are, Churchill at the bottom, leading onto High Street, exactly the same road, and we're going back down to track bed level. You can see where the line used to go underneath the road, and there's still one of those pipes there. It probably carries water over, and buried below that would have been the bridge, which is clearly infilled. Now on this route there is a number of sculptures, meaning lots of different things. It's a little bit like the Marriott's Way in Norfolk from Norwich. They've got the little sculptures along there, like little bits of rail, and these two seem to represent bits of rail. Look, marvellous. They don't look like they've been painted that long ago. I come down here 2 years ago and they were all pretty much just black or a little bit rusty. Now, apologies for any wind in this walk. We are just on the back of Storm Franklin. It is the middle of February 2022. We're going to pick the trackbed up, follow it down, and we'll come across a nice replica signal beside the A610 road. So we've come to a stop beside the noisy A610 dual carriageway because we've got these nice replica buffers which are very similar to what was at the beginning of the walk. But also, not only that, you may have been down the A610 and spotted this going past and thinking, well, what on earth's that railway signal doing over there? And there it is, look, standing proudly. It's a replica signal. It's probably facing the wrong way or on the wrong side of the line from where it authentically should be, but look at the old working gear it's attached. That's great, isn't it? You pull the lever and the signal would either drop or it would raise. I believe this one would raise. That is marvellous, isn't it? It's clearly being looked after. And on the other side of the buffers is actually a seat. Look, you can sit down, so if you want a little break part of the way on your way to Bennerley Viaduct, you can have a little sit down. Beautiful. So leaving that behind, I like that a lot. That's really good, isn't it? I've got to try and get myself under the A610 dual carriageway, and I'm going to find a nice, safe way of which to do so to help anybody else as well that's coming along. Now, if you're wondering how I started this journey, I've come by public transport. I've got the Rainbow One from Nottingham Victoria bus station. It drops you off right outside of Sainsbury's supermarket in Kimberley, and all you need to do is head on over to Station Road. That's where the station is if you want to go and see that, or you can make your way up to Church Hill and Main Street as I did before I got onto this part of the trackbed. So facing the signal and the A610 dual carriageway, I took the path to the left, so you're walking with the A610 on your right hand side. This is what I've got in front of me, and what this is going to do is show us a public footpath sign which takes us underneath the dual carriageway nice and safely, and it'll pick us up on the other side. And there used to be a few sidings on the other side before we get to where the junction is of Awsworth Junction, which shot off over the 40 bridges or Giltbrook Viaduct. So safely across, and you can see there is also another footpath just there. Now if you follow that down, that will in fact take you to another underpass, and it's an actual road, and you go underneath it and it's shorter and narrow, so there's a lot more light down there. So if you don't like the look of the first one because it's a little bit dark, you could use the other one, but it is about double the length, so just be warned. So if you go down there underneath and then right, and you'll appear at the embankment where the signal is. So the extremely observant ones amongst you may have noticed one or two things in that aerial footage. One, in the distance, there was the windmill, the little individual wind farm windmill that stands proudly just at the side of Bennerley Viaduct, quite just a stone's throw away really, isn't it? You may have seen it when you've been yourself, or on a previous video that I've done, or photographs for example. That means we're heading the right way. Secondly, there's quite a golden hue around at the moment, and that's because I've purposely chosen to do this on a late afternoon leading up to sunset. Not sure I'm going to get any nice sunset colours. It was very wet and windy this morning and early afternoon, but it is looking reasonable, so hopefully it'll stay with us. Off that way you've got the Giltbrook Viaduct, the 40 Arches Viaduct, which has long been demolished. I'll try and stick a couple of photos on. And behind us there used to be a couple of extra track like sidings. It was probably to do with maybe traffic waiting to either use the viaduct or head straight on towards Bennerley, Ilkeston and Derby. Now for some reason we seem to lose the track bed momentarily. That's there, and we go on an uphill trajectory, only a little bit. Let's have a bit of a run up to get it out of the way. And you can see the railway, there was a bit of a cutting. You can walk it down there, but it looked very, very boggy, so that might be why this bit has been turned into some kind of path as well, because it does in fact get to the other side, look, and it leads you to the track bed level again. Now you'll notice moving forward the track bed is pretty straight, but it is also pretty widened, and just there's what looks like a slight embankment, and the reason for that is if you take the time just to momentarily veer off, so that's our route, but if you take your time to veer off down here and come out the other side, you come to this clearing. And what this was the former line that took us over the Giltbrook Viaduct. If you look at the top left of the screen, you can probably just make out the windmill I mentioned earlier. Forgive me for how windy it is, but please bear with me. So here we've got the track bed coming along, and it comes to an abrupt end, and this is where Giltbrook Viaduct started, and it's shot off over there on a curve. Brick built viaduct with 40 arches, hence the nickname for it. I never got to see it in the day. I believe it got demolished in the 1970s, but it's not a bad little spot. And you see there's a nice little bench if you want to come here and have a sit down and take in the view. And up left you can see the windmill just a little bit closer. So I'm back on the track bed now, and down there you can see what looks like an abutment and one over there. I'm wondering if there's a way down. I mean, this looks a little bit steep, but might be worth a try. Probably going to regret this, but I will advise that if you're going to do this walk, don't do this bit. This is just a bit of a detour by me. And there it is, look. Looks like an old farm access bridge, doesn't it? So that's really quite nice, isn't it? Nice bit of stonework around the arch there. It's extremely weathered though, and there's a huge crack on the right hand side there as well. What a nice little find. I've never seen this before. Okay, I'm going to attempt to get back up there. Wish me luck. So we're about to lose the track bed again and we've got to go down to Awsworth Lane. But before that, there's this curious little old, it's got to be an old mining wagon, hasn't it? Because Awsworth Colliery wasn't too far away from here. Let's take you around. Look at that. Nice bit of link and buffers there. And wheels and some rail holding the four wheels or two bogies in place. So we've got to go down there, and that is Awsworth Lane, and we're getting ever closer to Bennerley Viaduct. So once down onto Awsworth Lane, that leads on to Main Street. You get to the end of that and you cross the road and see a bus shelter on the other side. Go behind the bus shelter, you'll see a little dirt track about 20 feet long. You get on to Meadow Road and follow that straight to the top where Awsworth Station used to be and the station house still stands. So on the 1st of November 1880, Awsworth Station opened, and you've just seen me walk past that property. It closed on September the 7th, 1964. I couldn't really point the camera at the building for long as the residents were home and I did not want to irritate them. There's a playing field, as you'll see on the right hand side as I've walked down, so you know for reference where we are. And Awsworth Colliery was just down there. The windmill is up to my right, and we've got a bit more track bed with a nice golden glow just above it. Look at that sky. I'm hoping to get some nice drone footage around the viaduct very shortly. And once we approach the end of this section of track bed, we go down a small gradient because the track bed is no more. There's no more until we get to the actual viaduct. But we will of course hit the A6096. Now, cautions to be had here. It is a very, very fast road. It's very, very busy. Now, something to mention, if you are going to get the bus back like I am, you can go back to Nottingham from one of two ways, and one of them is to pick up the Rainbow One again. So you'll follow the A6096 down to the second roundabout, you'll see IKEA, and there's a bus stop on a side road across the road opposite IKEA, which will take you straight back to Nottingham. The second option I'll talk about a little bit later. So that's the A6096 down there, otherwise known as Shiloh Way. Go straight to the end of here. There are a set of bollards for you to stand in the middle to get part of the way across. Then you're going to head on straight over, down the road and onto where the viaduct path. Okay, if I'm honest, I was waiting there for a considerable amount of time. So over there, that's the slope of the path. I've come down and I've crossed over just there. You can see a gentleman in blue just appearing. He just crossed it himself. So we'll turn you around. That's the Nottingham Canal on my left. You can't really see it. You might do it in a second, but you're going to go down here and you'll see a gate which we're then going to walk through and head off a short distance down to our viaduct. And just to the left of the lowering sun, I can see the sunlight glistening off the Iron Giant. So we've made it, we're at Bennerley Viaduct. There's a gorgeous sky behind me, isn't there? I'm going to get the drone up again when I get down the bottom just to catch that late afternoon, early evening sunlight. Again, apologies for the wind, it's very windy at the top here, but I do hope you like this very first episode of Walks with the Iron Giant. Walks that involve Bennerley Viaduct, how to get there, how to get back, and how to walk around. Now, I did say there's another bus service you could get. It's the number 2. You can go down the other side, take a right along the Arrowash Canal, and take a left onto Bridge Street. Get to the top, there's a bus stop, take you straight back to Nottingham. Like, subscribe, comment below. Be sure to look up the Friends of Bennerley Viaduct website, and you can follow them on Facebook too. Take care, bye bye.